My ex-friend brought his new girlfriend. She's like, oh my God, I'm just gonna shake it to the fella over there with the hella good hair. Come on, babe. We can shake, shake, shake. Okay, I'm ready. Hey everyone, welcome to today's episode of Cooking with Chow. Today we're making, drum roll please, pork katsu sandos. What is a katsu sando? It is a Japanese style pork cutlet that is deep fried, and then it has some coleslaw on top and is sandwiched between Japanese milk bread, and you squish it together and it is absolutely phenomenal. This is one of the best snack items ever. And I remember when I was in Japan, prior to getting on the bullet train in Japan, I would head to the local 7-Eleven and I would pick up some pork katsu sandwiches. I would also pick up the iconic milk tea. If you guys know what I'm talking about, you guys know, and we can be best pals. 7-Eleven in America does not even compare to 7-Eleven in Asia. Did you guys know that in Asia, 7-Eleven sells gourmet food, hot food, cold food, the biggest drink selection in the world, and they sell alcoholic drinks? It is so good. They even sell some Michelin star items there. So America, 7-Eleven, step up your game. Okay, let's get started. Let's talk about the ingredients. We are going to start with some pork. We are going to be coating it in some flour and egg wash and a panko breaded mixture. Then we're going to deep fry it. Next, we're going to then add it onto our Japanese classic thick cut bread. So this style of milk bread I actually picked up from my local T&T. If you guys haven't had milk bread, it's essentially a Japanese style of bread that is sweet, it's very light and super fluffy, and it just pulls apart. If you guys don't have milk bread, you can also just use regular Texas style white bread, but try to get the really thick slices. Next, we're going to then finish it with a slaw that we're going to chop up, and we're going to do a lemon mayo vinaigrette on there. And then we're going to finish it with some tonkatsu sauce, a little bit of some spicy mayo, and then we're going to pair it with a tonkatsu dipping sauce that I will be teaching you guys how to make today. Okay, let's get started on the pork. I'm using pork tenderloin. We are going to tenderize it. I don't have a meat tenderizer at home, so if you don't have one, you can just use the back of the knife, and you're just going to use your muscles and hit it, the back of it, onto the pork like so. Flip it over, do the same. Okay, that looks pretty tenderized. Next, we are going to cut little slits into the pork. The reason we cut little slits into the pork cutlet is so that when we're cooking it, frying it, or baking it, the pork doesn't shrink and like warp and bend. So it stays flat by cutting these little slits in it. Scoring. Is it actually scoring? That looking pretty good. Grab your salt and pepper. Season it on both sides. We are going to be deep frying it today because I like to have the juiciest pork cutlet ever. However, if you don't want to fry it, you can bake it in the oven at about 425 degrees for 20 minutes. I will include those instructions below. Okay, let's check to see if our oil is ready. No, it's not. Okay, well, while we wait for that to bubble, maybe we'll just start on breading it. When I bread, I like to try to keep one hand for dry and one hand for wet, so my fingers don't become gross and, you know, just a big fat mess. So you're going to start off by taking your pork, dip it in the flour, use your dry hand, sprinkle the flour on top, flip it over, shake off excess flour, dip it in your egg mixture, let the excess egg drip out. Then we're going to place it in our panko. And you're going to use your knuckles and just press gently down so that the panko sticks and adheres to the pork nicely. Today we're using panko breadcrumbs. These are my favorite breadcrumbs to use. Panko is bread with typically without the crust, and it's dried and then it's, you know, made into flakes. They're typically larger flakes and they are a little bit more airy. So when you're frying it, it actually doesn't absorb as much oil and you have a crispier end result. Okay, my oil is ready. Grab your pork, gently pop it in. We're going to fry it for about 3 to 4 minutes on each side until it is golden brown. Okay, I think another minute or so and we're done. You just want to cook your pork to about 145 degrees Fahrenheit. But once it's golden brown, it should be ready to go. Okay, I think we're done. Do it, just a small part. Ha! Beautiful. Okay, cool. Cece still got it. Next, we're going to start on our tonkatsu dipping sauce. This is not as traditional as it's normally served. Typically, it's not really served with the sauce. It's just the sandwich itself. But I had it at Katsuin here in Calgary, one of my favorite places that sell katsu. And they had this dipping sauce on the side for their tonkatsu. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so delicious. So I decided to try to recreate it and attempt it at home. And I'm going to show you guys how to do it today. So normally in tonkatsu sauce, it's made from like apples, tomatoes, prunes. There's a bunch of spices within it, and then there's Worcestershire. But I'm going to show you guys how to make a different style of the dipping sauce today. If you guys want to find out how I made the original tonkatsu sauce that I used for the takoyaki, linked above, check out that video. So what we're going to start off with is some apple sauce that I have pureed from just apples and a little bit of some water. I found that this just adds really nice sweetness, so you don't have to add as much added sugars, simple sugars. I think that's the word. About 1 apple that I just pureed, added in a little bit of some water, and then we're just going to heat that up. Next, we're going to add some soy sauce, some ketchup, a little bit of some barbecue sauce, just to give it a little bit of a Western kick to it. Let's just say this is a modern fusion style. And a little bit of some Worcestershire sauce. Two tablespoons of some ketchup. Add a dollop of some barbecue sauce. Give it a little bit of some depth to it, a little bit of some flavor. Some premium dark soy sauce from my favorite brand ever, Lee Kum Kee. Last but not least, we're going to add the much needed ingredient for that, what's another word for iconic flavor? 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire, whatever. Texture is a little bit runny, and that's what you want it to be so that you can dip your sandos in there afterwards. Look at, ooh, yeah, that tastes good. Next up, we're going to be making the classic slaw that they use. Normally, you have, you know, a little bit of that salad on the side. What's really interesting about the salad, it is very simple to make. All you need is some lime or lemon. You need some cabbage, so I'm using Taiwanese cabbage today because it's a little bit crisp and it has great flavor to it. It's very similar to the regular Western cabbage. I thought you were gonna say something. And then we're going to add classic Kewpie mayo, man. Y'all know I love this stuff, okay? I don't even need to talk about it. We're going to add a little bit of this, some salt and pepper, and that's it. It's very simple to do. You're going to start off by chopping your cabbage into thin strips. Next, you're going to grab some lime juice or some lemon juice. You want to use a fresh lime and just squeeze that all over. Okay. Then you're going to take that mayo, about 1 to 2 tablespoons. Grab some salt and pepper. and then you're going to mix it up and you're all done. The next sauce we're going to make is a spicy mayo with some Kewpie mayo. Add equal parts. Take some Dijon mustard to give it a little bit of a kick. Sriracha, you know, the good kind. Set that aside, and I think we're almost ready. God, it's got these like... Welcome to Cece's episode of ASMR. Stop on the other side. Tonkatsu sauce. Add that on top. Ooh, it's a little bit big, but that's okay. We're gonna add that on top. Grab your slaw. And this is where the fun part comes. In Japan, they actually press their sandwiches slightly. So what we're going to do is grab a pan, and we're going to add some plates on top to squish it and press it down ever so slightly for a couple minutes, and then we'll be ready. Okay, I think it's pressed good. Now we're going to cut the crust off. And you're going to cut all sides of the corners off. See, this sandwich is very kid-friendly. If you don't want to waste the ends of the bread, what I like to do is either feed them to AJ or I like to dry them out and I actually make breadcrumbs out of it, and then they become croutons. And you have a cute little katsu sando. We have that tonkatsu dipping sauce that we made earlier. Add that to the side. I like to also just garnish with a little bit of some alfalfa sprouts, you know, jazz it up a little bit. Or you can add some extra slaw if you have room. And there you have it. Easy Japanese katsu sandos right at home. I'm actually pretty proud of this. If I can make it, you guys can make it too. This is actually so easy to make. Look at that. Wow, that is an elevated lunch. I would definitely buy this. Well, shall we do a taste test? Maybe that's why the corn dog one did so well, because it looked like there was something in my mouth. Katsu, look at how juicy that pork is. I'm gonna dip it in that sauce we made. This is so freaking good. This is so damn good. Oh my goodness. Okay, you can taste the crispy pork. It's breaded so nicely. It's fried to perfection. Can I say that? Oh, oops, I didn't do this. The cabbage is crisp and all the sauces tie in so nicely. This has a little bit of sweetness to it, but a little bit of kick from the barbecue. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe and, you know, enjoyed this episode of watching me cook another street food item. As always, full recipe details will be below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Ring that notification bell, everyone, so you don't miss an episode, and we will catch you guys next Saturday. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. Ciao for now. People say, ooh, ooh. But can I have some of you guys shaking in the back too? It will be like the, you know, like, yeah.